Welcome. Good morning, everybody. It is Banlist time. I woke up randomly at 4 in the morning, decided to check my phone and check Reddit and see if a Banlist was announced. And sure enough, because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon for Japan, Banlist is out. If you haven't seen my Banlist predictions, feel free to go check out that video, but I feel like it's not going to be worthwhile anymore. I haven't seen anything about this. I had thought I had saw a pair, but it turns out I was looking at the world website instead of the English website, and so this announcement is of today. So let's get right into it. All of this stuff is just pretty simple. You know, this is what a banned card is, this is what a restricted card is, all that stuff. So let's go ahead and just scroll on down. Following cards will be updated on the banned and restricted list from August 31st. So 8 days from today, so it'll be not tomorrow, as in when I'm recording in Eastern Standard Time, but a week from today, a week from tomorrow. So let's scroll on down. Cards that will be banned and restricted, only be able to play one. Oh my god, they're just okay. So they didn't ban this card, but they put it to one. Which, if anybody who watched my restricted video knows, I had really wanted them to just outright ban this card. But I also understand the hesitance to ban any card, and putting it to one fills the same kind of niche. It doesn't allow the deck to just be able to consistently be able to spam out a bunch of level 3 bodies and just keep being able to promote them, swing, promote them, swing, promote them, swing. This really makes you consider when to use your Ukkomons, and it does allow you to do one extra turn of being able to kind of push it out at an advantage. It was intended for this card that could be combined with Louis and used in a variety of decks, but the importance of this one turned out to be much bigger than predicted and increases the speed of control of decks that don't require level 3 and provides many options by securing memory. As a result, there's a difference in power between decks that can use this card and decks that can't, resulting in a loss of diversity for the decks that it can be used. For above reasons, we decided to restrict this to one. Yeah, no, makes perfect sense. It's a lot of the same stuff that I talked about, except it did bring up Louis, which after I put out that video and I had been thinking about it some more, I do think that Louis should have been hit in some capacity, but I didn't. Obviously, I couldn't make like a follow-up to my video. That would just be silly. This is the follow-up. I don't want to make a follow-up on like an updated ban list within a week. That doesn't sound right. Like, I think Louis maybe should have something dealt with, but putting this to one isn't obviously perfect, but I also understand not wanting to ban a card that is like exactly where you want it to be, or that is like kind of showing off. So this card to one, I am totally fully on board with. I think that this still opens up a lot of deck building philosophy stuff and does kind of stop the problem at its core rather than choice restricting the two of them together. I don't think that was the correct answer. So let's go down a little bit more. Oh wow, we're hitting Louis to one too. By repeatedly combining effects that aren't once per turn, such as BT6 Mat, so they're even bringing up Ancient Gabu. With this card's while in play effect, the game speed accelerates dramatically, making it difficult for many decks to compete. Because various decks use countermeasures against this combination, decks that are strongly affected by the countermeasures are no longer able to perform as effectively as they should, resulting in a loss of diversity in the cards being used. For the above reasons, we have decided to restrict this card to one per deck. Awesome, that's great. Like I said, I wasn't even considering this card being on my radar, but their reasoning that right here makes 100% sense. It makes perfect sense because it does allow you to push out that aggression, and with Ancient Gabu being on the rise, you know, it's like, okay, well now you don't have to worry about it as much because you're not going to be able to effectively be able to promote out your Ancient Gabus every turn. You're going to be able to still promote them out, and then every other turn. And with Louis being limited, that means that you still get one, so you still get a chance to kind of have a really big blowout turn. So it's kind of like do I hold on to it as like a hybrid for game, like where I have it in my hand and I can like do everything that I need to, and then Louis promote rookie or Digimon I have him back and gain a memory and win. I like this change. I do. I think putting Louis and promote Ukko kind of solves the same thing, but more effectively than I would have done by banning outright promote Ukko. So I like this change a little bit more than I had promoted. Hammer Spark. Card has been used in many decks that include blue cards for a long time, but the increased variety of cards available now allows for more card drawing, making it possible to have multiples in the hand to use them consecutively in one turn. It has become easier to speed up the game, widening the gap between decks that can and cannot use this card. We've restrict this card to one. That's fine. I don't see a downside to this ban. Like, it's kind of like if you ever had multiple copies of it in your hand, it wasn't it felt kind of unfair sometimes. Like, there have definitely been games where I was testing an Imperialist that was running like 2 or 3 Hammerspark, and with the amount of cards I was able to draw, like, I would go, okay, cool, drop 2 Hammerspark in my trash, go up to the requisite memory that I need to go into a dragon mode. I mean, I'm running in my ancient Garurumon list, which is about to be drastically changed anyway, because I am on red base, because it was the thing to be playing, and that's how I won the Evo Cup that I won. I was able to just run one, and so I'm only running on the 1, which I think is the appropriate number. And if you're looking for its security effect, now you have 2 of the security effect total that you can run between Hammerspark and between Ice Wall. I think this is a good change. I was definitely not on my radar to be hit, but an excited change nonetheless. Awakening, yep. I called this one 100%, and it's like, this card is just so good. It is just an incredible card. It was balanced originally in mind with BT9 Magna X, and BT60 Magna X is just much more powerful. Being able to stick on it for 3 memory and be able to keep turn if you have it in conjunction with any tamer is just too strong. This card is mainly used in decks that use BT16 Magnamon X, which has a high usage rate in recent game environments. When combined with cards such as level 3 cards that support Digivolution, in particular Promovimon, it was possible to keep BT16 Magna X on the board early on and move towards attacking. The above play is very powerful and creates situations that many decks can't handle. Yeah, there was somebody in my comments, and no negatives to whoever this was. I mentioned my thought on it already to that person in the comment section of my last video. I don't think that the problem with Magna X is Magna X itself. While that card can be frustrating to get around, the real issue with Magna X is the inability to out it if it's early. If you're able to get out a turn 2 Magna X, there's not a lot that other decks can do. But if you limit the amount of memory that your opponent gets, especially because there are a lot of times where you can just swing twice. It's like whenever you're playing Armor Vax, right? The entire goal is to be able to Digivolve into Magna X for effectively negative memory between Pata effects and Awakening the Golden Knight. And so being able to just go, okay, cool, let me guarantee that I can do it for 3 just to make sure that the curve's out to play is just so strong. I think putting this card to 1 fixes a lot of the issues. Like I said previously, if you want my full opinions on Awakening, you can go check out the other video, but this is the change that I wanted, and a change that I think is very worthwhile. Okay, sure. Nume-X. When using Numenamon decks, this card has a high board retention from the beginning of the game, and its inherited effect that can be reused when combined with other cards, allowing the single card to significantly increase the ability to control the entire deck. In addition, since a level 6 can also be played with its effect, it's easy to digivolve from there to a level 7, which has a higher output to create a one-sided control board at an early stage. For the reasons above, we expect this card will play a large role in the deck, resulting in a loss of diversity for the cards included. Sure. The list is still young. It's still possible to see Monse X hit, but killing the floating potential is perfectly fine. I like the floating potential as a playstyle idea for Numemon. However, if they're worried about it restricting deck requirement, right, I don't see a reason that they shouldn't hit this card. It's one of the few X antibodies that digivolves for the same cost as a standard level 4. So instead of costing 3 to evolve on something that's non-X antibody related, it does just cost the 2, which is something I guess we're really moving towards in the new X antibody support, such as the Dex line from the Doruga support, or the Dex Dorugora support, and this only costs 2. So I think that banning this card in 1 is fine. I really hope that we still see a Monse X hit, because I feel like that was the most frustrating part about this deck. What? Wow. Okay, sure, they're coming out swinging. Makes sense. Like, this makes sense if you're worried about Emissary and you're worried about how strong that card is. I suppose that you can just hit BT14 TK. Having multiple of this card makes it easy, continuously and significantly increase memory, guaranteeing stability in Yellow Vaccine and others that use this card. This card's role throughout the entire games becomes significant due to the effect which increases or decreases the security part that can be activated for a low memory cost. On top of this, having memory gained after recovery effects lets the player do more and make matches take excessively longer. Totally agree on that. Like, this is a card I didn't think they would hit, because I thought it was a powerful card, but I didn't think that it was a problematic card. But also, if like you go play TK turn 1, Emissary turn 2, you're effectively putting down a Tamer on turn 1 for 1 memory, which is not how this game works, but that's the idea behind this ban. I don't hate this. It's not the ban I would have done to Armor Vax or Yellow Vax, but it's the ban that they decided to go with. So I don't dislike this, but it does feel like it kind of hits these Yellow Vaccine decks, such as 4 Great Angels, that really are caught in the crossfires. But for the same reason as like people and myself included think that like Emissary of Hope or even BT14 Patamon restrict Yellow Vaccine's game plan, I think that this does as well. Okay, and that's it for the restricts. Wow. So they are lifting cards as well, but for the overview of what we're going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at a Limit 1 Ukko, Promo Luco, Promo Louie, Hammer Spark, Awakening, Hinume X, and TK. Sorry I keep rubbing my nose. It is still very early for me. I still would have liked to have maybe seen a Shoto Mother restricted combo, but I guess we're going to be seeing how that turns out kind of as we approach it. I am concerned about it just stalling out games really long, but this is just a list that takes effect for us on the 31st, and they probably don't want to include cards that aren't on that, and there's no reason to make that card combo what it is until later. This doesn't hit Imperial at all. This doesn't hit Ancient Garu at all, aside from the red base Ancient Garu. Technically I mean blue base. It does hit Ancient Garu with Louis and the promo Ukko hit. It does leave BT16 Ukko on tack, which again I think is a completely fair combination of cards. I think that having BT16 Ukko completely is fine. I think that there's a lot of things to consider for that card, and it doesn't print you a lot of value immediately in terms of memory. Let's look at the lifts that they're listing. I assume it's going to be like Gray X, cards like that, cards that were very strong at their time. I would, but have kind of faltered off. I'd love to see BT13 Geo Gray. I don't think it's going to happen, but they did hit TK, so it's possible. Please give me a good Geo Gray to play on my Shine Greymon deck, I'm begging you. Yep, okay, yeah. I think this Gabu can come back fine, totally. It's when... I don't think that there's any issue with this. I think that this card was kind of hit preemptively, but this card wasn't used in the versions of Garurumon that ended up coming to the States anyway, just because they nerfed it. They pretty effectively killed that deck before anything had even happened. In past game environments, when the card was widely used, by combining it with the Digimon that had an effect that allowed it to attack consecutively and activating multiple inheriteds, doesn't have once per turn. It's increased the speed and the consistency of decks that made use of the trash. As the card pool has increased in recent game environments, there are now more ways to suppress attacks. Because of this, we have determined that it has become more difficult to consistently activate this card's effect multiple times from before, removing it from restricted 1 to unrestricted. Yeah, we had gotten this list right before BT16 had come out for Japan, I believe. And so there wasn't a card called Magna X. You could unrestrict most of the cards in Garurumon, and I think it would be okay, because Magna X is just such a good wall to stop it. And even with like Shoto Bomb's also a good wall to stop it. And it's just like, there's a lot more considerations you have to make as the Garurumon pilot of when do I actually promote, when do I actually go for combo? Like, what does that combo even look like now? Like, I can't really swing with my early stuff like I would want to do early and keep myself with the Garu and the Gabu inherits. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Wow. I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of the stuff that I had saw hit, but there is stuff that on my list that did not get hit, right? I mean, a lot of people were calling for like Patamon to get hit or anything in Imperial or anything specifically in Ancient Garu, but I didn't think those cards needed to be hit specifically. I feel like if you would hit the consistency pieces in Gabu or in Ancient Garu, it would have slowed it down, and I feel like you're okay to have a deck that's best in format, even if it can be frustrating to play against. I won't be surprised if in a couple of weeks we do see a limit to BT14 Garu, or not BT14 Garu, oh my god, if we don't see a limit to stuff in Ancient Garurumon. But I think it's a good list. I really am kind of surprised that we didn't see a list to Emissary, we just saw a head to TK instead. I feel like Emissary is a card that really does limit what you can do. But on the other coin, if you just hit one of the only couple of TKs that are around, and the best one by a country mile, you're going to make Emissary kind of harder to use anyway. The only other ones that you have left are like the Duo Tamer from BT16 that allows you to spit out a body. And then you have like TK Kari, and then you have Setter TK. So it's like none of those cards even come close to the strength that this card provides. And so by hitting this, you are kind of hitting all of the yellow vaccine strategies all kind of at once. So yeah, I think that this is a very strong list. The only other card I would have maybe liked to have seen unlifted is like maybe Gray X, because I know a lot of people really want Gray X. And then I really would have liked to have seen the on deletion Gabumon also be unhit, because there's no reason to like keep that card limited. I think that card is perfectly fine. Like I think you're allowed to have deep draw cards, but I also understand them wanting to hesitate on that because they did hit that with a lot of deep draw strategy cards. So, all right, well, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this a good ban list? Is this a bad ban list? I personally am on the mindset of this is probably a good ban list. It is, 4 hours before or 3 hours before I'm usually awake, so my thoughts are maybe a little bit jumbled, but I think this is a good step at the bare minimum in the right direction. So leave a comment and tell me what you think. If you like this video and like any of the other videos that you've seen on my channel, definitely consider subscribing. I don't know if I'm going to be doing local footage moving forward, but I do think that I will be having some other ideas coming down the pipeline in terms of deck profiles. So they might be testing videos that take the idea would be testing videos to take like 10 minutes. Who's to say? So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take it easy.